Hey everyone, I'm John Lynn, the founder and chief editor at Healthcare IT Today. We're excited to bring you another in our series of interviews with top leaders in health IT. And we're here in Israel, and our guest today is Ofer Derech. He's the CTO of MilagroAI. Welcome, Ofer.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited to talk about what you're doing with clinical data abstraction and some automations that are interesting for healthcare. But before we go there, tell us about yourself and MilagroAI.
So I'm Ofer Derech. I am MilagroAI's CTO. I've been in the field of data analytics and healthcare data analytics for about 20 years now. We've started the company in 2015. Our core business and what we aim to do is to eliminate manual processes in which professionals, healthcare professionals, look at patient records in order to extract and abstract information from there. So at our core, we're a data abstraction at real-time company. And then on top of the abstracted layer, we run complicated algorithms and are able to eliminate very complicated processes that are currently being done manually.
Yeah, so talk about why we need to do clinical data abstraction.
Okay.
How much of the data is structured or not, and do you need to even apply it to structured data?
Okay, so even structured data requires abstraction because not every system provides the same coding system for information for labs or for vital signs. Some systems use internal parameters, some systems use standard ontologies. What we do is we take everything and standardize it to standard ontologies, mainly SNOMED, but also some LOINC and RX norm.
Sure.
And then once everything is organized, you can apply algorithms, but not everything, not all the relevant information is structured. A lot of the information is in text note. So in order to have the complete visibility of the patient's situation or the billing situation or whatever situation we want to understand, a lot of that is in text notes. So there's a lot of power in analyzing and abstracting data from text as well. And that's what we do as well as standardizing the structured information.
Okay, so once you've abstracted the data and done the clinical data abstraction, which I think is such an important process, I've actually seen it in EHR conversion, so it's interesting to see it applied to the data in the system of record right now. Once it's abstracted, then what are some examples of what you're doing with it?
Okay, so we are mainly, well, not mainly. So there's the scenarios of revenue cycle management, the RCM, where we identify procedures and principal diagnoses and applying DRGs or CPT coding, depending on the scenario. It could be inpatient, could be outpatient. So in this setting, the output of using MilagroAI is a reduction in manual labor, plus the we have seen increased revenue in customers that used the system because we're consistently identifying the correct modifiers and the more suitable modifiers. So there's an increase in revenue, plus there's decrease in denials because there are a lot of situations where a patient was approved and went into a surgery approved for a certain type of procedure based on the agreement with the provider, but in the in the OR, it was identified that something needs to be done a little differently, and there was another procedure that took place. So there's a 72-hour time frame in which you can, the provider can work with the payer to adjust the approved procedure and modify it. So there's a reduction in denials because otherwise it will be denied. Yeah. Yeah. So that's part of the scenario. There's also scenarios where we do regulatory reporting for clinical settings like hospital-acquired infections.
Okay.
We've automated the CDC guidelines into the system. So on top of the abstracted layer, we run the CDC guideline algorithms, and we identify the hospital-acquired infections and provide the reporting to be sent to the regulator. Here it's the Ministry of Health, in the US it's the NHSN. Different types of reports, but essentially it's the same guidelines.
Yeah, and essentially the way it's done now is they're just manually doing those reports, and so you're automating that using the clinical data abstraction?
So, yeah, there are systems that support the process, allowing the abstractors and the coders and the clinical staff to organize the data, but there's still a person that needs to read the patient records and identify, yes, in this chest x-rays we see opacities, and this is qualifying as pneumonia with other pieces of data. So it's pneumonia, so we'll identify it as pneumonia. So all that process is done automatically at real time by the system without the intervention of a person.
Yeah. Well, I love any company that's taking all this data and making it useful. So it sounds like you're doing some good work. Where can people go to learn more?
MilagroAI.com, our website, and also if you want, I can provide with my email, and they can reach out and...
Yeah, we'll connect them to your LinkedIn. How's that?
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Ofer. I appreciate you sharing these insights and perspectives, and thanks everyone for watching and listening. If you want to find more great healthcare IT content like this, be sure to check it out at healthcareittoday.com or search for Healthcare IT Today on your favorite podcast application. Thanks, Ofer.
Thank you.